Guys, I can't tell you how many times I have said to a partner, "Why don't you just care about me?" And what I meant is, "Why can't you receive my feelings and act like you give a shit about them?" And I've heard from my partners, "Well, what about my feelings? What about how I feel?" And y'all, it is infuriating. Because at the heart of all of our communication and our relationships, really, we just want our partner to care. We want to feel cared about. We want to feel heard, understood. We want them to get it. We want to feel felt, right? We want, when we share our thoughts and feelings, we want our response, our partner's response to be care and concern, compassion, validation, love, not defensiveness or shutdown. But what so often happens in our relationship is that the more that we try to share our feelings, the more upset, defensive, or shut down our partner becomes. So, what do we do when we're hurting and we need our partner to show up for us, but they can't seem to really hear us? Let's talk about that. That's what we're getting into in today's Catalyst conversation. Welcome to another Catalyst conversation in the Relationship Revolution, where we challenge the unquestioned assumptions about love, flip the script on what you've been taught, and reveal the truths that no one has told you. Here, we unlock a whole new paradigm of partnership, one that anchors in consciousness and empowerment and results in the kind of relationship that most people only dream of. Today, we are tackling a deeply relatable experience, one I know I have had numerous times, and that just about, if not every single client I have ever talked to shares. You try to share your feelings, and your partner gets defensive, flips it back on you, makes it your fault, or just shuts down and withdraws. As always, this conversation might challenge you. If it does, good. Receive it. It might make you uncomfortable, but it might just set you free, my friend. Before we dive into the good, juicy stuff, I want to take a minute to introduce myself for those of you who may be new to these conversations or to my work. My name is Dr. Jenny Wallig. I am an award-winning relationship mentor, speaker, author, educator, and rebel with a PhD. Guys, I am a proud disruptor. I am determined to make this world a better place through more conscious and evolved relationships, which means challenging the way most of us are thinking about and going about our relationships, because frankly, that shit doesn't work most of the time. I work alongside my partner and soulmate, Calvin O'Seely. We are the founders of Powerful Love Relationship and the creators of the 3-pillar Powerful Love method, which is a proven path to saving, healing, and improving your relationship, even if your partner isn't doing the work with you. To the extent that if you follow the path, we will guarantee your results. Like if things don't get better in 6 months, we'll give you your money back. This shit works. So in these Catalyst conversations and in everything we do, really, at Powerful Love, our goal isn't just to teach you how to do relationships better. It is to redefine what's possible. Rewire how you do relationships, right? Like revolutionize how your relationship works. We want to empower you, fellow visionary, to create a relationship that fills your heart and fuels your dreams. You ready? Let's get into it. So, most communication breakdowns aren't about words. They're not about what you say or how you say it so much. They're about our feelings. More specifically, communication breakdowns are about our inability to safely and effectively share, receive, and respond to one another's emotions without making things worse. This is the most common and most, frankly, corrosive pattern that we see in relationships when people get stuck in not being able to share their feelings. Because if your feelings don't feel safe to express, if you don't trust that you can safely express and share your thoughts and feelings, you stop sharing them. You stop feeling safe, period, in the relationship. You start shutting down, pulling away, building internal resentment. And over time, the connection that you had with your partner starts to get further and further apart and more and more fragile until it's gone. And there's nothing left of a relationship between you two. So many of the couples that we work with come to us in this place. It's a really painful place and it's hard to come back from. But when you've got the tools and you've got the path, you can, which is why this is so important. This art, this skill of being able to share and receive and respond to feelings with love, care, presence, and power is essential to relationships' well-being and longevity. So if you want a thriving relationship, you have to know how to bring your full self to the table courageously and effectively, and also how to receive your partner when they do the same. So important. So let's talk about how. I want to start with you who tend to be the one to share your feelings more often. That's me. You have a feeling, you have an experience, you want to bring it up. You want them to understand, to care, to attune, to receive what you're saying without turning it into something about them. And in so doing, you want them to respond in a way that creates course correction, creates repair, creates growth and learning, right? But I'm sure what you're finding and what most people experience is that your partner is struggling to hold space for your emotions, right? Especially if it feels like they're the one being blamed, right? If they're the cause of your emotions, they probably struggle a lot more to receive and respond to them well than if you're talking about someone at work who really pissed you off or hurt your feelings. What happens for all of us, and listen, this is even you. What happens for all of us when our partner is telling us that they're upset with us about something or that they've got some feelings that are difficult to receive, our nervous system kicks in because it's uncomfortable to receive that information. We don't want to feel like a bad guy. We don't want to feel like we screwed up. Maybe we don't think that we did or we didn't mean to. When people receive the feedback that they have hurt someone that they care about, whether intentionally or not, we tend to feel things like shame or fear or failure or anxiety about having caused them. And then what happens to protect ourselves from those uncomfortable feelings within our own body? We, people in general, move into defensiveness, justification, explanation, finger pointing, their side of the story, their feelings. They make it about them, or they may simply shut down, withdraw, or pull away. If this is what your partner is doing, if this is how they're responding, I want you to understand what it's about, right? This is what's happening in their nervous system. And they're in unconscious self-protective reactivity. And even understanding it, I know, it doesn't make it better. It still fucking sucks. It's still, you still don't like it. You still need it to change. Got it. Yes, I'm with you on that one. And I want to talk about how you can set them up for success. Knowing this about what happens in their nervous system and how they're likely to respond or react empowers you with the opportunity to anticipate that and set the conversation up for decreased chances of that kind of defensiveness happening. Sorry, I had to take my shoes off. When you bring things up, right? And listen, as the person who is big on knowing, feeling, and sharing my feelings, I get how freaking painful this is. And as in all of our work that you're going to hear from me, I want to focus on what you can do to help it, to help you get the response from your partner that you really desire to have. Okay. So how do you influence your partner such that you increase the chance that they're actually going to be able to hear you, receive you, and respond in a way that feels good and connecting? The long answer to this goes deep and is part of the transformational work that we do inside Powerful Love. And I want to give you some really prime real estate key tips to help shift this dynamic. This is like the big stuff that you really need to know. First, when you want to share your feelings or your feedback, your thoughts and your experiences, get their consent. Always ask first. Are you open to something I've been feeling? Like I have some feelings that I'd really like to express to you. Are you willing to hear them? Like I have some feedback about or some feelings I want to share about the conversation we just had or what happened between us the other day. Like can you receive them? Are you willing to receive them for me? It would help me feel a lot better if I could express this to you. Are you open to that? Right? Like, those are just some examples of how to do that. But get their consent. A lot of the time, communication goes haywire because we spring it on our partner, and they're not ready for it, or we're in the moment and our emotions, both people's emotions, are already really activated. Those are the best times to really um, expect or hope that your partner can receive your feelings. With a lot of practice, you can get to that point where you can do it. But if you're stuck in a cycle where defensiveness is the norm, bringing it up in the moment or just out of nowhere is probably not going to get you where you want to go. So there's a slowing down, which can be hard. Trust me, I know. But we gotta slow down. By the way, I'm seeing the time. I'm already 11 minutes in. This is a big conversation. So probably gonna take a little more than the typical 15, 20 minutes, but I'm gonna do my best. I thought about splitting this into 2 different sessions, but I'm like, no, like this is such important information. I want you to have it like right now. So we're just gonna go with it, even if it takes a little longer. All right, back on track, Jenny. So tip number 1, get consent, right? Ask first before you share your thoughts and feelings. If they say no, then you ask them, when can I? Because this is really important and I really need you to hear it. So get them to agree to a time, stick with it. When you bring it up, tip number 2, acknowledge their good intentions. Appreciate them, right? Set the stage with something positive that is genuine and sincere, right? Start with compassion. Let them know that you see their heart, even though harm was caused, even though they hurt you, even though you're upset, even though they didn't do it well, right? You might say something like, I know you'd never want to hurt me, but when this happened, and then get into it. Or I know and trust that my feelings matter to you, even when it's hard to hear them. And I appreciate that you're willing to hear me out on this. What I need to say is, right? So you're disarming their defensiveness by letting them know that I'm not trying to attack you. I don't think you're a bad person. I don't think you're a fuck up. I know that you love me. I know that you didn't have bad intentions. I know that you weren't trying to hurt me. I know that you were really mad and that, like you were acting from anger or stress, right? Like have compassion. You love this person. They love you. We all mess up sometimes, right? So share that. Preface the feedback with an acknowledgement of who they really are and how much you love and appreciate them. Okay. 3rd tip, before you even share your feelings, let them know what it is that you want in this conversation, right? Tell them the kind of response that's going to feel supportive. So, I know that you would never hurt my feelings, and I really appreciate your willingness to hear me out. What I need for you in this conversation is to set your own feelings aside for a moment and tune into my pain. Show me that you care by validating what I'm feeling, even if you don't fully understand and even if you don't agree, right? That's an example. Make a clear request. What I really need from you is just to listen. What I really am looking for is some accountability, right? Let them know. And then tip number 4, allow their attempts to count. They might not get it perfect. Their nervous system might still get activated. They might still be a little defensive, but let their effort count and encourage that. We don't get good at this the first time we decide we're going to get better at this. We get good at this when we practice it again and again and again. And in the beginning, we all suck at new skills. So know that they're going to suck Even if it feels really easy for you, if it's not easy for them, they're probably going to suck at it. Let it be okay that they try. Encourage them, support them, participate in creating safety for them to practice this new skill. Okay? Team with them around the success of this conversation. That's so huge. All right, so those are like really key like active tools that you can apply right away and start using in your conversations that are going to set your conversation up for much greater success in your feelings being heard and received. So I'm going to go through them one more time if you didn't get to write them down. 1, get their consent first before sharing. 2, acknowledge their good intentions, their good heart. Appreciate them for being willing to listen and hear you out. Acknowledge how much they love you and care. Let them know you see them. 3, make a clear request. Let them know ahead of time what it is that you need from this conversation. I need you to not get defensive. I need you to not hear this as criticism. I need you to just try to receive what I have to say and know that it's coming from a vulnerable, painful place. Right? Whatever that is, share. And if you don't know what it is that you need to ask for them, come prepared. Like, take the time to do that thought work before you bring it up. And number 4, let their attempt, however ungraceful it may be, count for something. Applaud it, celebrate it, encourage it, give them feedback, work with them to practice this again and again as you work together to change the communication dynamic that you've gotten stuck in. Okay. Normally, I would end it here. But in this case, like I said, there's a lot of really important information. And when we're talking about like the what about my feeling experience, there is another side to this coin. And I want to talk to you, my friend, you who are, who's likely to be the one more often receiving the feelings of your partner. This would be someone, like Cal with a partner like me who brings it all up and wants to be heard and cared about and validated and such. And then if Cal were here, he would say, yeah, well, like, when do I get to share my feelings? What about my feelings? Where's space for my feelings? And then what happens is that, your partner shares your feelings, and maybe this is you who are listening. Your partner shares your feelings, their feelings, and it activates or reminds you of how you feel. And your feelings are valid too. 100%. Your feelings are valid, my friend. And you want to share your feelings. Well, I felt this way when you did that. Well, I was hurt. Well, I was angry because blah, blah. And that's true and all and real and valid. But if you really want your feelings to be heard and understood by your partner, now's not the time. You got to get good. If they brought it up, you got to get good at receiving their feelings first. And for sure, that is freaking hard to do because your feelings are big and valid. And you may have a partner who feels like they are bulldozy sometimes or strong-headed. And once they're done getting their feelings heard, like, you're so exhausted, you don't even get to bring up yours. That is a real problem. And that's deeper than we can go today. And yet, it's not working when they bring up their feelings for you to say, but my feelings, but my experience, it's not working. You're not getting your feelings heard. So if you want them heard, I'm telling you, this is the way. Okay. And by the way, I just want to say, it's okay that you feel defensive. It's understandable. No one likes hearing that they're the bad guy, especially when it feels unfair. And you're not a bad person. You're not. You probably didn't do anything wrong. A lot of hurts are unintended, and this is an opportunity for growth for you and for your partner. Growth, connection, a strengthening of the closeness between you two. This is a beautiful opportunity for all kinds of good stuff if you let it be. So I want to give you 5 liberating truths that I think are going to help you to receive and respond like a pro. Okay. And make your communication much better and easier and open the door for your feelings to be heard, received, and cared about. Liberating truth number 1, their feelings are not an attack, my friend. Even if they came out messy, even if they feel like an attack, even if they are attacky in the way that they're shared, their feelings are not an attack, right? You are not being attacked by a bear. Your nervous system says you are, but you're not actually. What your partner's feelings are, what their anger, their outrage, their their critical tone, if they're doing it in a not so skillful way. What that is, love, is a bid for connection. It is a request for love. I learned once this liberating assumption that anger is a request for love. Like all expressions of anger are a request for love. It, we feel an injustice, we have a fear, we're in pain, and the response to injustice is fear and pain, which is where anger tends to come from. What people need in those moments is love, understanding, care, concern, compassion. So if you meet the need underneath the poor expression of feelings by giving that care, concern, compassion, that love, you are going to soften your partner. You're going to help them feel cared about and felt and soft with you, right? Unguarded. And that's how and when connection occurs and safety occurs. And that's how and when they can receive your feelings in return. Which brings me to liberating truth number 2. The best way, and I've said this already, but I'm saying it again, the best way to get your feelings cared about is to care about theirs first. Emotional safety opens the doors both ways. Okay? Emotional safety opens the doors both ways. If their feelings are coming up and they're unable to hold space for yours, but you have the capacity, and some of us have a better capacity for this. It's our wiring, our training, our window of tolerance, all kinds of things that impact our ability to do this. Doesn't mean your partner can't learn and get better, but maybe you have the privilege of being able to like set your shit aside a little bit easier and attune to your partner, even if you were the one to bring it up first. And so this goes for you too, like me. If you're the one to bring it up first, your partner gets defensive, but you have the ability to set your stuff aside and hear their feelings first, do that, because they're going to be much better able to hear your feelings after you've heard theirs, even though it's not fair. I hope you're following all of this. But all that to say, the best way to get your feelings cared about is to care for your partner's feelings first. If you can create emotional safety, if you can participate in creating that emotional safety by how you bring it up, by how you receive their feelings, you're opening the door for them to receive yours and care about them. That said, and this is shift number 3, or liberating truth number 3. If your partner brought their feelings to the table first, they get to go first. Okay? Just let them. They're the one who did the labor of bringing it up. If you at all possibly can. They made the first move. You now get to respond. Okay? That doesn't mean that your feelings don't matter. It doesn't mean that you don't get to share your feelings. It just means that theirs need space first. Theirs need to be heard now because they brought it up and they made the ask first. Next time, you get to make the ask first. That's your responsibility. They're making the ask first. So respond to their ask. And then, if you've got the energy, you can ask them to receive yours, or you can ask them to receive yours at a later time. Whoever brings it to the table first, though, they got to get priority. I know it doesn't always work that way, but let's aim for it, okay? Please. Makes a really big difference. Truth number 4, understanding does not mean agreement, and neither does validating, okay? We think, I don't want to go too far into this because this is another deep one, but so often we conflate understanding with agreement. Like, you don't understand. It may be that they understand, as in they understand your perspective, but they don't agree. That's different. Or I just don't understand. Well, no, maybe you do understand. You understand because you've heard what your partner said, and you believe that that's their experience. You just don't agree because you can't see how the dots would connect like that in your own mind. That's not the freaking point. The point is to believe that that's their experience. The point of understanding is to be able to map their mind from their mind's map, right? To build a mental map of how their mind works, how they see the world, how they experienced this. And validation, right? Which again doesn't mean agreeing. Validating someone doesn't mean I agree with you. Validation is not saying, okay, you're right. That's agreement. It's not validation. Validation is saying your experience makes sense to me given what you said, given how you explained it. Your experience makes sense to me from your perspective. If that's how you saw things, if that's how you interpreted things, I could understand why you would feel that way. That's validation. Doesn't mean you agree because you saw things differently. Like if you could see it this way, you wouldn't feel that way. We know that happens sometimes. Validation is just saying you're not crazy for feeling the way that you feel. You're not crazy. Your feelings, your interpretation of this makes complete sense given what you've told me. I don't see it the same way. I don't agree. That's okay. That's different. But the validation is so important, guys. Practice it. Practice validation. Start your sentences with, okay, that makes sense to me because it does so much good. It does so much good. I can understand why you would feel that way given that, fill in the blank. What did you hear? Doesn't mean you have to agree. You could have a totally different perspective. Just try to understand. Validate and believe that their experience is real. Okay? Excellent. It's life-changing. Fucking life-changing. I'm telling you. Okay. 5th truth. Don't expect them to be perfect either. Okay? It's okay to ask for a softer delivery, right? You get to have boundaries. You get to say, like, don't swear at me. Okay. You get to say, can you please try to soften your voice? It's very difficult for me to receive what you're saying when you're yelling at me or when you're speaking in that tone. You get to have boundaries. But there's no perfect way to share feelings, and they're going to have feelings. They're going to have emotion probably behind what they're saying because they're hurt or they're upset, they're angry. And they may be doing their best, but they're not going to do it perfect. So have grace for that. Okay? Honor your boundaries, but also have grace for the way that they bring it up. We don't need to have them say it in a perfectly deliverable way. A lot of the times, the way that someone delivers it, when it makes us uncomfortable, we want them to deliver it in a way that doesn't make us uncomfortable. And y'all, it's not their delivery that makes you uncomfortable. It's the fact that they have this message at all that creates discomfort in your body. That's your shit, not theirs. Okay. Sometimes these conversations are hard conversations. Sometimes what your partner has to share with you is going to be hard to receive. And there's no way that they're going to be able to phrase it that's going to make it easier to receive. You just got to tolerate the discomfort, breathe through it, check your ego, and put your shit to the side for a moment to tune into your partner's pain. Okay? Y'all, if you can get this, it's going to change things. It's going to make things so much better in your relationship. This really is revolutionary, y'all. Most people do not know how to do this. Or if they have an idea of how to do it, they don't do it well. Because there's practice, there's reiterations, there's nuance, there's depth here. Mastering this takes a lot of practice. And that's okay. As long as you know that you've got a path that you can get to a place of mastery. Cal and I aren't even perfect at this all the time, right? But we know at least what we're going for, right? We know how it could look. And I'm sharing with you now how it can look, how it can be, how you can communicate, how you can receive, how you can support one another in going through these conversations in a way that connects you. And because you're here listening to this, let me tell you, you are ahead of most people in this world. I'm thinking about whether to say this, but I'm going to say it because it popped in my head. There's a drawback to getting masterful at this. And it's that you and maybe you and your partner are going to get good at this, but then you're going to find that so many other people in your life are not, and it's going to be really, it's going to be not fun, because it feels so good, so nourishing, so connecting, so safe when you know that you can share your thoughts, your feelings, your rawness with your partner, and trust that even if they don't get it perfectly at first, they're going to come around and be able to respond with care, concern, compassion, love, repair, connectedness. That is extraordinary. That is unbreakable when you can have a bond like that. So this is worth learning. Everything gets easier, y'all. The more we practice it, everything gets easier, but it's got to start with the awareness, and then it's got to move into conscious choice. And it's in our consciously choosing, not just reacting, but like consciously responding, that we have the power to create the kind of relationship that most people only dream of. All right, 31 minutes. Woo! Thanks for hanging in there with me. Now, if you are in the Relationship Revolution membership, you will receive this week's activation prompt soon. This is your opportunity to move what we're talking about from learning about it into practicing it and applying it, because we know that real transformation doesn't come from learning. Real transformation comes from doing the damn thing, becoming the change, right? And if you're not in the Relationship Revolution group, now is a good time. What are you waiting for, my friends? We are waiting for you. If this is helpful, right? If conversations like this one are helpful for you and you want to up-level your relationship in a community that has support and mentorship and behind-the-scenes looks and practical guidance every month and accountability baked in, then the Relationship Revolution community is where you need to be. This is a monthly membership. We are going to show you how to lead your relationship like the visionary that you are, with love and power, intention and effectiveness, so you can transform everything. Founding member rate of $97, just $97 a month, y'all, is still available, but not for long. We are starting to build this community, and when it hits a secret number in my head, that founding rate goes away, as do the bonuses that come with it. So I will put the link to the Relationship Revolution in the comments of this video. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. Would love to have you in there. This is an amazing transformational space. I'm having so much fun supporting the amazing couples and individuals who are in here. So if you're feeling it, if you know, you know. The link with the information also has a link to join. That's it. There's no application, no conversation. You just sign up. It's $97 a month. Let's just go and make your relationship revolutionary. That's it for today. I will look forward to seeing you next Friday, for another Catalyst conversation in the Relationship Revolution. And oh, wait, let me say this. It's every Friday, 12:30 p.m. Pacific. Until then, my dear friends, keep leading your relationship with love. Lord knows our world needs it.